Hey everybody, this is Rusty again with Collector Auctions. I have got a new CGC unboxing for you today. This is the second part of a 50-book order. It was a modern order. It was not a pre-screen. We did the first 25 books in a previous video. This is the second 25 books. Just to give you some dates, times on this. This again is another one of those fast turnarounds from the recent CGC submissions. This order got mailed out October 5th. It was received by them on the 19th. It was shipped back on the 22nd, and I got it on October 25th. So just a few days ago. I've already opened up the box like I normally do. I usually get home real late at night from work, and my wife always wants me to get her up, so I get her up and we go through the unboxing, and she gets to see the reaction to the highs, the lows, the successes, the failures, everything. But I present this to you guys so you can see what books I've got. Let's get started. Hey, before we get started though, if you like this kind of content, please hit the like and subscribe button. I will continue to post more videos. Please post comments. I love hearing what your comments about some of the books are. It's always fun to talk with the fans, everybody. Alright guys, this is the box. Another heavy box from CGC. Again, well packaged. I don't think I've talked much about the packaging from CGC. I've heard some horror stories from people. I have been very fortunate so far to have had a lot of good orders. There hasn't been any damage. I think I've seen one book that it had nothing to do with the shipping, but I think I had a problem with one of their, as they put it into the slab. I'm going to have to talk to CGC about that. That's going to be in I think it's in the last order that just came in actually. So I'm going to have to deal with that. But like I said, this is a just a modern order. It was 50 books. I didn't do a pre-screen, so most of these books had some good value, even if the grades came down a little bit lower than I would hope. But there were some in here that went down a little lower than I had expected, so I don't think there was much value in some of them. But, alright, let's get started. First book up is Amazing Spider-Man 328. It is the classic Todd McFarlane cover. Spider-Man has the power of Captain Universe. He knocks the Hulk into outer space. It's pretty funny. Love this cover. It's been homaged all over the place. It's done a lot of people have done this cover, so it's pretty cool. This was a great looking book. I think this was the last McFarlane as well, but I got 2 copies of that. I got 9/6 on both of those. So slightly disappointed on these. I didn't see any real defects. I gave both of these a nice press. They didn't need a lot of work on them, but obviously I think I missed something because I thought they would come back as 9.8s, but very nice at a 9.6. Alright, next up is a book. I love this book when it came out, not because it was just a reprint, but because they added extra content to it. And that, I'm talking about Classic X-Men #1. And that whole series, of course, reprinted the beginnings of the new X-Men, starting with Giant-Size X-Men, and continuing to reprint that. I'm not sure how many issues. I think it went into the 30s, 40s. I'm not sure how long it went. I didn't stay with it forever, but I stayed with that book for a long time. First issue here starts with Giant-Size X-Men #1, reprinting that, but it actually added extra content, so it filled in some of the blanks in the story. That was always really interesting. What's so great about this first cover is it's a early Art Adams piece of artwork, and just a beautiful cover. I did this mostly for the cover buy. I got to meet Art Adams years ago. I want to say at a convention down in Roanoke, Virginia, years ago. Years and years ago at this point. But I was real happy. I sent 2 copies in. I got a 9.6 on this. It had both of them had some spine tick damage. This one I think had a slight color break spine tick over here. But the second copy was very clean. Very successful on the cleaning press on this one. Got a 9.8 on the second one. So there's some really nice issues to have here. And as you can see, the back of the issue has a black border that can be unforgiving. So very happy with that. Came out very successful on these two right here. Alright, so the next book up is Nightwing number 78, and this is the first appearance, I believe, of Robin's sister, who is the mayor of the city that he operates in. I'm not a big DC guy. I hadn't been reading Nightwing or anything, but I knew enough that when I saw this book where I found it, I was going to pick it up. And that was when about a month ago, when I was traveling and I was stopping at Walmart's picking up the Marvel 3-packs that were so highly sought out at the time. I saw this. DC actually has 4-packs there at Walmart, and this was the top book on those 4-packs, and I know enough to know to recognize it, and I picked it up. I actually picked up 2 different packs that had this cover on both, or this issue on the top on both of them, and I ended up cleaning, pressing both of them. Both of them had some spine tick damage. If you've seen some of my other videos, you already know that I got a 9.8 on the previous one, so now I've got 2 9.8s on Nightwing number 78 first printing. So that was very nice. I didn't have to do a lot of work. I didn't think I'd pull 9.8s on either one of them, but they both came out really nice. All right, so the next book, I've actually got 5 copies of it, and I'm jumping on the bandwagon a little bit. But I've always been, it's probably been my number 1 or number 2 supervillain since I started collecting comic books. And that's Kang, and this is Avengers 267. And this is the first of the 3 issues where they do the Council of Kangs, and they deal with Immortus. And what's so great about these issues, for me, though, was it was the John Buscema, Tom Palmer artwork. I think I own, out of these particular issues, I own at least 1, maybe 2 pages of original artwork. Maybe someday I'll do a video and go through the original artwork that I own. That would be an interesting video. But like I said, I got 5 copies of this. Cleaned, pressed every one of them. I thought all of these were really nice. This one right here was the lowest of the grades. I got a 9.0 in this. And this, I was shocked. I don't know what the damage was. I think I would probably be more interested in finding out what is wrong with this and paying them for greater notes on this one. Just out of pure curiosity. It's almost like it was something ripped or folded in the middle that I just completely missed. I'm not sure. But 9.0 is a complete failure on this. And then the next 2, and I'll mark these up as failures as well. I got a 9.2 and a 9.4. And getting a little bit better, but I don't understand what went wrong with these. I thought all of these were a lot cleaner and a lot better than what I got. So maybe there's something on the interior that I just completely missed. But as far as the front and the cleaning and pressing, the spine ticks, it was all really good. But the last 2, at least I got 9.6s on the last 2. So that was a pretty good, I'd say I wouldn't say it's a win, but it's not a loss. So 9.6 on these are still pretty good. Would have obviously loved to have had a 9.8. I think my work was really good on that, and again, just a little disappointing. Alright, so the next book is a book that I picked up at Walmart. It was, again, going back to those Marvel 3-packs. You could find some real interesting books in the middle of those that were highly sought out ratios and limited editions and things like that that probably shouldn't have been there. But that, again, that's why everybody was after those 3-packs. One of them I found this. It's Venom number 1. It's the remastered sketch edition with the Mcfarland cover. And this book was rough. It had serious spine tick damage, color breaking damage up and down this spine. There's nothing I could do about it other than minimize it into color breaking creases instead of spine ticks. I pressed, cleaned this out as best I could. I knew it wasn't going to grade high, but it is a highly sought after book, even at this grade, so I've got to be real happy with this. Alright, so probably should have put these in order for you, but I actually did started doing a run on some of the Mcfarland Spider-Mans, the originals. This is $2.98. This one, I shouldn't be too disappointed in it. It was my newsstand copy. It had some damage up here around the top staple, around the indicia, excuse me, right here there was a spine tick that was pretty unforgiving. It was dirty. I've cleaned and pressed this as best I could. It wasn't going to get much better. 9.0 is a little lower than I had hoped. I was hoping for at least a 9.4. I thought everything else really did really well on this. Back cover can be difficult as well. It's obviously very black on the edge, but this is really clean. I don't think there were... I'd have to go back in better light and take a look, but there could be some color rub up here around the top edge. But 9.0 in this is still pretty good. First Todd McFarlane on Spider-Man. Alright, continuing that theme, here is the second one. This is $2.99. I believe this is the first appearance of Venom Cameo in comic books. Got a 9.6 on this. It had similar damage up here, but not quite as bad as the $2.98. Real happy with this. This came out really nice. 9.6 on this is very good. Alright, the next one is 301. And this one's a little disappointing. I thought it was just like the $2.98. It was a newsstand. It had the same kind of damage up here around the top staple. That's the one that seems like it takes the most damage on a newsstand as people thumb through. It pulls right there. There was some color break up around this top staple. This one pressed out really good. I thought it presented much better than a 9.2 though. So this was a little bit of a disappointment. Still good value at a 9.2, but thought it definitely was better than that. Now, this one was a direct edition. Didn't have the same kind of damage, but pressed out beautifully. This was 316, right? No, I'm sorry, 315. It is the first cover appearance of Venom, even though it's just a headshot. But it is the first time he appears on a cover. I think that's the only real significance to this story, to this issue. But extremely happy. 9.8 on that one. That was a home run on that one. All right, switching over to the X-Men. Here was I think this is the last copy of 282, the first appearance of man, I'm blanking. Bishop. Sorry, completely blanking there. I kept wanting to go Forge, but it's not. It's Bishop. This is his first cover appearance, the first cameo on the last page. 9.6 on this. I thought it was better than that. This color can really hide some spine ticks, as you can see. It isn't. The cover comes around. The back cover comes around a little bit on the front there. It still is a very nice copy, but that color kind of hides some spine ticks. It's hard to see them exactly, and I think that's probably what got me on this more than anything. But 9.6 on that one. I shouldn't complain. It's still a good book to have at that grade. All right, this was a book. It was a newsstand edition from my own personal collection that I bought back in the day. This is X-Men 140. You've got Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Wendigo. I believe you've got some members from Alpha Flight in here as well. This I felt like was a little bit of a miss. The 9.2 is a little disappointing. I thought this pressed out much better than this. So I will probably be on the lookout for this down the road to at least try to find a 9.6. If you watch my previous videos, you'll see that I try to collect the John Byrne run of X-Men at very least at a 9.6. I think there's great value at that grade. 9.8 seem to be really have skyrocketed at this point, and I don't see myself going out there and spending that kind of money on those when a 9.6 is very nice and presents just as well in most cases and is usually at a really good value. So, got a 9.2 on that one. White Pages is has a little bit of age to it. 1980. I guess I shouldn't complain. That is a 1980 book. Although I tell you, the artwork is so beautiful, you'd think that could be done today and it would be just fantastic. All right, this was a little bit of disappointment because I thought it looked really good. Just needed a quick clean and press. Was X-Men 248. I got a 9.6 on that. This is the first Jim Lee on the X-Men. I think that's the only real significance of this. Not real pleased with the 9.6. It's still good, but it's just not great. And maybe this should teach me to take my time a little bit more and really evaluate these books rather than give them a quick look over and pass judgment at that point. I probably should have several rounds of looking at these and really take my time. But 9.6 on that, it's not horrible. Alright, more X-Men for you. I got 2 copies of this. One's a newsstand and one's a direct. And it's X-Men 212. It's the first fight between Sabretooth and Wolverine. And it's just a beautiful, I believe this is Barry Windsor Smith artwork on the cover. You've got Alan Davis artwork on the interior. Just absolutely stunning book overall. I got a 9.2 and a 9.4. I thought both of these were better than these grades. This one definitely had more spine tick issues on the side. That black is hard. If you get a slight little tick on that, it's going to break color. So that was the issue mostly on both of these. But I thought both of these could have been up by at least another grade. I've since got some new raw copies that I'm starting to work on right now that I picked up at the Baltimore Comic Con. So I'm hoping that maybe I can pull at least a 9.6 out of one of those. But again, both of them present very nice. Front covers are just beautiful. All right, going back to the Avengers again. These are slightly out of order. This was the 3rd issue in that Kang storyline in Avengers. This is 269. Again, I pulled these all at the same time, did the cleaning and pressing all at the same time. These didn't have any problems. These were both direct. I got 2 9/8s on both of those. So, can't complain about that. I think I pulled back. I had another copy that definitely had this spine tick damage up here. It was dirty around the staple, and I don't think there was... I could clean it, but it was definitely color breaking. I didn't think it was worth sending in. But home runs on both of those. 9.8s on 269. It's not the money book out of the 3, but at a 9.8, it's got some great value. Alright, going back to X-Men. This is, again, from my original collection. It was a direct edition. I had, at this point, it was 81. I guess I had started subscribing to a service to get some of the books. I still had a lot of newsstands, but this was a direct edition. This is the last John Byrne on X-Men, 143, the Kitty Pryde Christmas story. And this one came out really nice. I don't think I expected a 9.8 on this. I hope for it, obviously, but this one pressed out really nicely. It was clean, sharp. I can't tell where the spine tick issue might be on here, but 9.6 is fantastic. As I said earlier, this is a sweet spot for me on this X-Men run. I've already got a 9.6 on this that I had purchased from Heritage Auctions. So this will be the second 9.6 in the collection now, my PC. This is my own personal copy, though. Alright, the last 2 books I've got we're going back to facsimile editions of comics that I've talked about previously. I think that some of these facsimiles that you can get clean and pressed, send them in, get a 9.8 on it, just absolutely beautiful presentation pieces for your house. So a lot of these books are so valuable, the originals, that most people couldn't even begin to imagine owning. But what I've got here is 2 of the same issue. This is different printings from different years. So from DC Comics, they will do they'll do the same issue, but they'll do different years and different printings throughout and everything. And this right here is Action Comics #1. And this is the 1988 printing. And as you see, I've got a 9.6 on this. both of these copies that I'm going to present they had spine tick damage like most of these books, and I cleaned and pressed them. This one here was worse than the second one I'm going to show, but I felt like I did a great job getting it pressed out. It probably would have been a gift grade at a 9.8, but a 9.6 in this is really nice. So very happy with that. And then the last one, of course, is Action Comics #1. This is the 1991 edition. And home run here, we got a 9.8 on this one. This one came out great. I spent a lot of time on both of these issues. I think I did several presses, but then I was experimenting with doing a cold press outside of the actual heat press. Pulling it out, I've got a setup where I use marble slabs and we'll put the books in under the slabs. And it's not a lot of weight, but it keeps a constant pressure on there, and just leave them for a while. And they pressed out at that point just very nice. It was very clean. Beautiful copies on both of these. Very flat. So great job on this one. 9.8. Can't ask for much better than that. Alright guys, hey, that's it. It was 25 books. I tried not to make this video too long. Again, highs and lows, successes and some misses with my cleaning and pressing, but overall a lot of value in this box. Again, if anybody is interested in any of these books, you can always contact me on the video, leave a comment. You can send me a message or an email at CollectorAuctions@yahoo.com. I encourage everybody to like the channel, hit the subscribe button so you can see more content like this in the future. I've got another box of CGC that just came in last night, so I'll be working on that video in the next couple days. I don't have much else. That's about it, guys. Y'all have a great day, and I will talk to you later.